Yo, what up guys, it's Shelco, and today I'm doing a breakdown of my latest remix I did together with my man 2D of Bad Bunny's Efecto. I'm going to use some tips, and hopefully you guys can translate this back to your music. Let's dive in. Alright guys, so we're back. Now we're on the actual Efecto remix project. This is the actual project where I wrote. Alright guys, so we're back and we're on the actual Efecto remix project. This is the project where we actually wrote everything. And I'm going to show you guys, step by step. Here's the drums we grouped. I just showed you guys. Dope. Alright, next thing I had to do is we had to figure out the bass line, which is so we did some processing right here. We ended up doing a little bit of wave shaper just to give it that grit. I'll show you guys step by step how it sounds, but first let's do some distortion after that. Didn't do too much, 39%, and then I had to pull up the gain station and I gave it some low end boost. I went a little mono on it because all the distortion spread it out a little more. Pushed a little bit on the clipping, brightened up a little bit of the high end, had to regulate it with the output, did some gain staging. So here it is bare, and then I'll just stack as we go. So last but not least, one thing I really like doing right now, I actually did a little bit of push here. You can see it in the stock EQ. Well, one thing I really like doing right now is, I used to do this all the time where I'd automate my low end EQ to just bounce when the kick would come in, right? But now, we have Kickstart 2. Kickstart 2 does this also. And I'll also do the EQing, right? And then I'll just do regular sidechain. In this one in particular, I just did the regular sidechain. But if you was to click the band, it will turn it then into a EQ chain. So where whatever frequency you set it at, right here it's 320, it'll just duck, right? So right now I'm just doing the sidechaining with the volume. Just the typical. I do not like to sidechain compression because compressors to me just fuck everything up, and so we did this for a reason. So we have this on so it ducks the initial attack of the kick. So with no effects and with effects, I'm going to show you guys. So creating that space, that relationship between the actual bass and kick, we can hear here. Now without that side chain, it sounds like this. So yeah, without that side chain, we have a lot of clashing. So that's why we have the chain there. It's just a volume chain. You can literally automate your mixer track to go up and down. You can automate your patch into the master up and down. But we have to make sure that we have nothing is fighting in that kick. I try to make sure that everything is away from the kick drum so that we get the maximum attack of the kick. That goes for all kinds of synths. And synths, I'll throw the Kickstart 2 on there with the EQ and the sidechain. So we have some clarity, we still have volume in there, but we know that the kick is the one holding the girth of the track. Alright, next we'll move on to, it's going to be the lead. The lead up is made up of a few layers. We're talking back and forth, something maybe more natural. So we did that, stacked it with some big room sounds because that was the idea of the actual remix, was just taking it back to the old school, because that's where we started, back in the Moomba days and the big room days. And that's essentially what we wanted to do. I'll show you the sounds that we used and the layers. This is cool. It's a sample you could find in the Cashmere pack, and I usually layer this always with my trumpet because it makes it sound so realistic. It's crazy. You guys can hear it together. I'll show you with just the trumpet. You guys can hear it. And when I turn on the layer of the Cashmere sample that I used, so much more full. And you can find this one. It is Synth Loop 24 128 FM. You can find this one in, I think it's Cashmere 2. Yeah, the whole loop is just but I did mad processing to it. You could hear here. And I just took the initial first shot, put it in the key of our actual record. We do some EQing, some reverb with light decay just to expand on it. Got our wave shaper again for distortion. Throw some OTT in there for some compression, just lightly. Did 50%, did some push in the high and the mids, push down the low. We don't need that. It's not a trombone. And then again, we did some EQing, reverb now. This one's a little bit wider. Still, we're at only 7%, 1.5 seconds. And next is stereo enhancer, just to spread it out a little more so it's on the sides of the trumpet. The trumpet sits in the middle, sample sits on the side. Now it's like a pillow holding it. And then we did EQing, but I don't think I didn't use it because I ended up busting this to a main channel where all the synths have their own sidechain on it. Alright, so then it sounds like this with everything. Next we're going to go to the next layer, which is going to be cool super saw sound. Sounds very metallic. Love that. I use it in a lot of my records. Can't really tell when you have a bunch of layers, but it makes the record. Next. It's a cool lead, almost the same, but it has vibrato in it, so it wiggles a little bit, you know? And yeah, next one. Everyone always asks me is how do I stack? I stack by things that are missing. And this synth I use because it has the snap on it, the initial attack. I used to use little hi-hats to also be in layers with it. I'll still do that sometimes, but if you have the synth that's snapping already, why do I need a hi-hat to brighten it up even more? So we got that. This one has a snap, but it also has a nice mid to it. And all of them together, they sound like this. One thing I like to do too, once I'm done, I found all the layers, it sounds full. It's not full yet because we need that white noise in there. The white noise is going to fill up all the spectrum, and that's going to make it sound very full and complete. And I'll do that, and this is all included as the leads, right? So it's just simple white noise. Threw a little bit of flanger in there, so we've got some movement going on. Killed some low end, pushed some highs, just so it stands out. And I'm assuring that it's the highest frequency in the synth, and it's just going to fill up the spectrum in the high end. Cool. All right, next I'll show you some processing we did. Right, the Latin trumpet we got. Some reverb, wave shaping, just to, you know, kind of distort it a little bit, bring it out more so it sounds a little more in your face. Then more reverb, and then endless smile. I like endless smile because it does the whole reverb, the EQ, and it makes it sound clean. And it does. I mean, I could have like 4 plugins in this, but why? I could just have one where it does that, and I'll control this with automating and whatnot too. So that's cool. I did a little bit of EQing the stock EQ right here too. Next, we already did that. Sample, serum. I'm just doing simple stereo width, high end push, some mid saturation push. Um, the attack, I'm boosting that a little bit. A little bit of clipping. I only did like about a dB or two. Some light body on there. And this is going to be for this synth. That's without it. With it. The accordion was super cool to me because I've always wanted to use an accordion, and we used it in a big room record, and it sounds awesome. I just did simple EQing, gain gain station, and we just did some clipping, high end push, nothing in the lows. The pre pushed a little bit, and a little bit of stereo width on this one, and then obviously you got to regulate with the gain staging, and then EQing again. Get rid of the mud, and we got this. Alright, so everything feeds into this channel, which is the lead bus, which essentially is just re-cleaning. We're doing some dynamic EQing, making sure we're getting rid of the mud. I wanted the mids to shine through here, the rest can be stereo, correct? And then we're doing some stereo push. We enhanced both. It's just the stock preset. Does the trick. I did the far left, far right, and then just enhance it there as a whole spectrum with all the synths intact. And then we have our Endless Smile. Endless Smile is just doing reverb tricks. And I like to do this in all my records where I fill in space where there is no, it's like a cliffhanger with a note. And here we fill it up so it's not just dead tone, So you can see here, he will rise when he rises. Super cool. Alright, and then we got our side chaining. Side chaining, I did the volume side chain. Didn't do too much because I wanted it out there. I wanted it spread out. And I already did a lot of EQing where I cleaned it up, so it's not going to clash with the low end of the actual sub and the kick. And it just sits there nicely like a pillow, That's my key and my analogy for it, That's what it is. So I ended up using the effects that I created in the last remix of Problemon, and I believe I changed the key. Yeah, I did. So I moved my key down to the actual key, which was 500 semitones down, and so this sits in the key of this record. Originally the remix is in A, so if we go down 5, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. E is the key that this one is sitting in, so it's just... Alright, cool. And then it's just the effects, they're all in the same key, and then I ended up using some vocals to make them stand out more. Alright, let's go to the break. The break is super awesome, did like some light work, but it works. We thought it was perfect because it was very subtle. The vocal obviously got to shine its pop. We wanted to keep the trueness of his voice because his voice is awesome. So let's check it out. So pretty much it's like what, 4 layers. We have this cool pad pluck that I like to use in a lot of records that we thought would work well with it. Basic chord progression. The top notes are still following the same melody that Bad Bunny was doing, which is what ties it all in together. We have our accordion doing the shots, right? One thing I didn't mention is once the leads are all bussed into this, it shoots into the effects, which is just some delay and endless smile pushed pretty far up. And this just sits nicely in the mix. I know it looks like it's pretty high, but I brought it down. There's no low end, so it's just like a pillow also, an effects pillow for the leads. So it doesn't sound so dry and whatnot, right? Cool. Alright, so those are the elements in the break. And then we got a sub. The sub is just a simple sine wave. Let's hear it. I'm dodging all the high end, and then here the cool thing about FL Studio is you can use ghost markers that you can tell um, your synth to drop in volume. That'd be crescendo, I believe. So we have it here, and we're telling it to slowly crescendo down. Check this out. With that actually on there, it sounds like this. Gives it that real bass player vibe, and that's why I added that. Alright. After that, in the build, we have elements that come in. We have, let's see, our chord progression is now adding the melody to it, which is this guy here. Alright, and then we start introducing our actual lead layers, which are here. I'm boosting the reverb, which is endless smile. I'm EQing down, so it's just hinted. We still have our chord pads being dominant in here. Dope. All right, so then we add a new element in here. It's I was on Spice just looking for trumpets. I found a one shot that went really well, and we just tuned it to the right key. And then this is just super reverbed. We're at 50%. I'm pancaking, so I'm panning left and right. We're at 40%. Um, Pushed in the mids, duck the low up to 35 hertz, and yeah, all together in the break, you're gonna get this after all that. So right there, everything just goes filtered down. We bring in the trumpets to stand out a lot more. After this, we got it right. I sent it over to 2 Beat, and he was able to add the vocal. He had the acapella. We threw the vocal on there. He did a few things to it. We moved it to another project, which is the mix down mastering project. And I think this is all I'm going to show you guys today. But if you guys want to see that project, drop a comment and let me know. But for now, hope you guys took something from this record and you could apply it to your record. And I'll see you guys on the next breakdown. Peace out, guys.